When I went out this evening, I was thinking to myself, maybe it's not a good evening for hiking in the woods. It's quite blustery, although less so in this part. And about 20 minutes ago, I was up that way, and I could hear this horrendous crash, and I looked up and it was a tree hitting against another tree, and I walked past it and I thought, yeah, thank God I'm out of the way of that tree, because sooner or later it's going to fall. And then suddenly a massive branch from another tree fell down in front of me, about 2 meters in front of me. And you start thinking, am I cursed? You know, is the forest out to get me? Anyway, this video is just something I was thinking about recently. The other night I watched Alien Covenant. I saw it about a year after it came out, so around 2018. And I liked the film. I have to say though, I'm not a massive fan of the Alien franchise, and I'll explain why. There's one reason really, there's one main reason why I'm not a big fan of the Alien franchise. But I'll get into something else first, and that is in Alien Covenant there's a scene at the start. It has a cyborg, he's called David after Michelangelo's David, and he was created by Wayland Industries, I think is the name of the corporation, owned by a guy called Wayland, and Wayland is a very old man. I think he's not very old in this first scene. He's not very old, but he's older. He looks older than the cyborg, and they're having a conversation. It's quite intellectual, and Wayland, you know, he's exceedingly rich. He's an explorer in outer space, looking for material resources, but at this stage his main objective is to find out where humans came from. He wants to be immortal, he wants to be made immortal, and he wants to find those who created him. And as he's explaining this to the cyborg realizes that he himself, compared to his creator, he himself is immortal. And when he poses this question to Wayland, you can see that Wayland is not happy, and he tells the cyborg to go and fetch the tea. So he's trying to put the cyborg in its place. It can't have these fancy notions of it being superior to its creator. And yeah, later on that film anyway, the cyborg, he becomes a god in a way, because he ends up on a planet and he can play God. He can create all sorts of different life forms, and he only needs a host. He needs a host the same way a parasitic wasp will need a caterpillar on which to lay its larvae. He needs humans generally, or whatever other animals are available. And on this planet there don't seem to be any other animals apart from the many diverse forms of this alien. Yeah. And I think when you have all the money in the world, like this Wayland guy, I'm sure we have a lot of them now amongst us. You know, they have enough money that would last, I don't know, 1 million lifetimes. But they're beyond money at this stage. They want to live forever. And you hear these things about drinking child's blood, and how many of these uber rich people, they live to be 100 years old or even older. They don't age. They don't seem to age the way the rest of us age. And yet they will die. They too will die. So they invest their money into science, hoping science can unveil the fountain of youth. They want to live forever. So why do I not like the Alien franchise? There's one reason, and that is, let me go back. So when I was about 13 or 14, I remember there was a documentary on TV. It was about the making of the Alien movie. I think it was the first one. And it was talking about, how they came up with this alien creature, and they decided that they couldn't really give it eyes because, the fact that the creature, wouldn't have eyes would make it even more sinister. So it's going to rely on its other senses. Its other senses are going to be heightened through lack of whatever vision. So maybe it can pick up vibrations better, like a spider in a web, or maybe it can smell better, maybe it can taste better, maybe it's got that thermal thing, that reptiles have. It can pick up the heat from its prey some distance off. And I guess the first thing I don't like, is not the main reason I don't like the Alien franchise, but the first thing I don't like is that they reproduce at a prodigious rate. The reproduction is too fast. And the main thing I don't like is the fact that, I was going to say their blood is acidic. No, their blood is acid. I think I read somewhere it's a mix, it's a cocktail of acids, and the main components are, what was it? Hydrofluoric acid and sulfuric acid, something like that. And it's such a cocktail that it can dissolve almost any man-made substance. And I think that's the problem with the franchise. There's no chink in the armor. When, in its larval stage, it has that long tail and it's got the legs like an insect. And what do they call it? A face hugger, where it goes to your face and, it lays its eggs, and then those eggs will hatch inside you and burst through your chest, and then you've got the young adult alien. Yeah, the life cycle is too fast. But acid. How can you contend with it when it's acid? And you've got all those scenes where it's wrapped around someone's face in the larval stage, and you try to pull it away and you get destroyed with acid burns. You'd probably die from your acid burns. And then there's also the added risk that the acid will drip through all the floors of the spaceship and destroy the spaceship and kill everyone on board. So there's no chink in the armor generally. There's no chink in the armor, and that's a problem. And I think whoever came up with the idea of these aliens, on top of all their other abilities, having blood that is just acid, they themselves must have been on acid when they came up with that. And in Alien Covenant, it's brought to a whole new level, because the cyborg David has, with his breeding program, etc., he's got them down to a microscopic level. He's got them down to airborne spores. They're like fungal spores. So if you breathe in the air, within 50 minutes, give or take, they're bursting out of your rib cage and your chest and all the rest. So that's it. Let me know what you think. Is it still a great franchise? For all that, for all what I have said. Or do you agree? Do you think they overdid the alien's ability? Until soon.